Alrighty, so today's the day. This big rig is getting power steering. I've gotten these parts off a good fella named Tom. Went over to his place, pulled out the 4Runner that he had there. I've just cleaned it all up because everything was proper scummy, like covered in crap. So, got the wire wheel on and everything, cleaned it all up, didn't film it because it was a little bit of a pain in the ass, but we got it all done. Flushed out the pump, all the bad oil and craps out of that, same with the steer box. So it's just a matter of pulling out the old steer box in there. That is a power steer pump in there, but I don't know the condition of it, so I'm just going to rip it out. And then yeah, literally just got to mount up everything. We took the radiator out when we pulled everything off to get the lines and that out, but hopefully I can try and not pull the radiator out because I don't feel like doing that. Oh, scratching me parts. And then yeah, that goes on your front of your crank, so that might be a little bit of a mission to get to, but I reckon I could manage if I rip the fan off or something. But yeah, this is going to be good. Of course, you know, power steer before, you know, you can't turn the wheel when it's stationary. We can, but it takes a bit of effort. So, bit of a reference before, and I'll give you an after once she's running and pumping. So yeah, first thing, rip the steer box out, and then you go from there, I reckon. Well, I've gotten the steering, the old one. This came out of an L106. Power steering, and they're both literally the exact same, except I know that this one actually works, and I'm not too sure on this one because it got given to me with a whole heap of other parts, but they literally look identical. So this one's been out in the elements for a while, so I don't know how bad it is, but this one's sweet. So this one's going in with its bracket because this one come off a RN46. Gotten that steering box in. It's looking nice and tidy sitting up in there. So next task I reckon is maybe try and feed the lines up around everything, up under the radiator. And if that goes to crap, well then I'll try messing with the pulley to get this thing on for the belt, so we can actually have some drive to the pump. And if that doesn't work, then I'll try mounting the pump. So yeah. The power steer lines actually went in, they put up a little bit of a fight, but they actually went in without having to pull out the radiator. So they run along there, they go down here, down there, they bolt there, along there, and then they pop up here, and they also bolt down there on the frame, and then your pump would sit here, and then it'll connect up. So now we just got the easy, I hope it's easy, bolting the pump on and all that. I know here for the idler tensioner, this fuel line might be a problem, so we'll sort that out. Because Get that there. Chuck it there. Bolt hole goes there. 2 there. And then when the bolt goes there, that fuel line's in the way, so we probably have to bend and mung up this line a little bit to get that to fit. Gotten that pulley bolted on in there. This fuel line is a bit janky because it used to mount to there, but now it's up there because there's pulleys in the way, so I'll probably have to make a new fuel line or mount it in a way so it doesn't rub, and then probably get a little bit longer hose there because she's a bit stretched. But yeah, we got that going. That's got the original, well, I'm presuming original bearing. I just greased it and it's actually alright, so that should go again. Try and bolt this pump up. Here's the main bracket for it, and then there's the pump here, and then that just chills there, bolts on like so, and then hook up the lines to the pulley for that, and then this rear piece bolts onto the back to support it, and that bolts onto the engine mount, so figure that one out. So that's what the bracket for the power steer pump looks like, bolted on. 1 bolt there, 2 bolts there where the hook was. Try to move the hook so it's on the mount. So yeah, and then the power steer pump right there. Gotten the pump all connected up. It's looking absolutely sweet. Got the pulley on there. Connected up all the lines. Got new copper washers. Can't really see, but I got new copper washers for one of the fittings down there. The last thing is to really fill it up, but first, oh, drop the torch. First we gotta tackle this big one on, which I've left till lucky last. Oh, I still need to chuck that on. I left this till lucky last because I'd rather get everything done in daylight and film it, and then yeah, just that pulley I'll fight off tonight, and then in the morning we'll top it up with power steer fluid, bleed it, and then give her a turn, and hopefully she'll be smooth. Back working on this thing today. So next day, got fluid, put it in the reservoir. I've just been spinning it just to hand prime it, if you'd call it that. And then I look down here, we got dramas, we got leaking lines up in there. We got pinholes in the lines, which is not good, so I'm going to try and do a dodgy repair. Gonna wipe the line clean and then quickly put epoxy or something over it to try and seal it, because this car is currently not driving on the road, so it doesn't really matter. I'll worry about repairing it properly once it's registered and we're about to be on the road. So yeah, that's a little bit of a bummer, but we're going to make do with what we got. So I've made a hell of a mess figuring out stuff, and I tried to repaired the line while it was dripping, and that did not work, of course, so I've disconnected it. That's the return line, so that goes back, feeds back into the reservoir. The other line, this line, the feed line to the pump, to the steer box, that's got fluid in it. That's not leaking, which is good, so it's just this return line that's leaking in 2 spots. I tried some of this stuff while it was dripping, of course it didn't work, and then some kneaded as well. So I've blown out the line with brake clean and compressed air, so there's no more ATF in there. It's no longer dripping, so I can actually properly try and repair it. And then while that's drying, I'll get that pulley and belt on, and then we'll sit around and wait for that to dry, and then give her a start. Change my mind, I'm not going to use that. I've got some steel weld here that I've used before in the past, and this stuff dries rock hard. So I've got kneaded under there already, and then I've coated it with that steel weld on both repairs. Kind of hard to see that one. And then I'm just going to let that sit probably overnight. Got that pulley on finally, got the belt as well, that's ready to go. So once that dries, connect the lines back up, hand prime it again, and then start it up. So should be sweet. Like, I could put fluid in it now, but I'd rather just let it sit and properly set instead of it bursting or something and then have to do it all over again. And the repairs are nice and dry up under there and over there as well. I've put the lines back on. They're all back connected. Topped up the reservoir, spun it by hand, and then I've got it up on the jack and I've steered it without it running, and it seems to get more of the air bubbles out. So I've got the belt on, just chucked the battery in, and now it's just time to start and see what happens. Hopefully nothing bad happens. So far, that seems pretty nice. Everything's spinning nicely. Nothing's leaking yet anyway. It's not bad. Could be worse. Could be leaking. I say that's a win. We'll drop it on the ground and give it a dry steer on the ground. So let's give that a go. Don't mind all the ATF burning off the headers. She's smoking. Smoky boy! Many months have passed since doing the power steering, and I can tell you it's still holding up. Those repairs that I did on those lines down there are holding up, and they're not leaking one bit. And since running it for a while and priming it up, there's no more air bubbles in the system, because before you'd turn the wheel and you can hear it shudder and carry on, but there's none of that. I got a brand new belt for it as well, but yeah, still holding oil, and it's smooth steering. Steering box is still nice as well. But yeah, I am very pleased with how it all turned out, painting it all and getting it all in there. It's pretty smooth. But yeah, if you're able to get power steering in your Hilux, I would highly recommend it, because it makes a world of difference.